the Orange Juice Man.
Yeah, big talking brewskis. Marissa Smith is who you see. Water cooler combo in here. Crack a cold one, we're on the air. Big talking brewskis. Marissa Smith is who you see. Water cooler combo in here. Crack a cold one, we're on the air. Kicking back, having a few beers, we're chatting. Pull up your chair, we're all relaxing. Any subject, we never dismiss. Big talking brewskis with Marissa Smith. Comedy, sex, relationships, war. Any subject, we got it in store. Big talking brewskis is coming in live. Crack when open, Marissa has arrived. Big talking brewskis with Marissa Smith. Yeah.
Hey guys, happy Friday. This is Big Talking Brewskis. I'm Marissa Smith. As always, I've got Rodney Daniels with me.
What's up, guys? Happy Friday.
And we've got Alex Fosello with us.
Hey, I love how your theme song is like, we'll talk about anything. And I'm like, you guys want to talk about Lion King? I like the Lion King.
Love the Lion
Not
King.
the new one, but the old one I really like.
Yeah, I was at a bar on Tuesday, and I met one of the characters. He sings like the theme song at the beginning. No,
that guy?
Yeah,
I would be starstruck if I just figured out him from his voice.
Yeah, yeah.
Was he cool?
Yeah, he was real cool.
Oh, that's cool.
We're gonna have him on the podcast. Actually, I was like,
Oh,
Well,
call me for that, because I will
okay.
be like nerd starstruck.
Can
I will so.
Can I just like put out on the table that I have a little bit of beef with the Broadway Lion King cast?
Okay.
oh,
So
was
like
beef.
so like so like a few years ago I used to produce at this bar in like the Lower East Side. And it was like a weekly show. And so like the owner is just kind of like, oh, like we're going to have like a party in the front, but it should be fine. You guys can still have the back. So I get there and the bartender's like, you can't have the show in the back because we have the party in the front, and the party thinks that you having a show in the back is going to throw off the vibe of their party.
Oh, God.
And I was just like, well, who the fuck are these people? And they're like, oh, it's the cast from The Lion King on Broadway, and they're having a going away party for one of the cast members. So, like, they're all super Broadway, and they're all super, like, you know how, like, Broadway actors get when they're all around each other, and they're like, I'm a jazz hands, and you're just like, bro.
I'm a jazz
Yeah.
And then, like, it's just like,
I'm a jazz hand.
it's like, I'm a jazz hands, and it's just like, oh, God. And I'm just, like, saying to myself, I just need the back room. We're just gonna
Call me
have
the
like,
elephant graveyard, like in the movie. Like,
it's like, just give us like 2 hours to tell some dick jokes. You guys can do all the jazz hands, and
You want to at the
you
front of the
want
party,
to in the
right.
front of the bar,
And
like
you can come in and out of the show
if
too,
you want
to.
If you want, it's like, you know, like I'll even let you do some jazz hands up on the stage if that will make you feel better. But no, we couldn't. And so like then the bartender just started like feeding me shots, and I was supposed to be hosting that night. And you can't.
Oh, you can't
Ooh, you gotta have your wits about you.
when you're hosting.
And you're angry, and you're me.
Oh,
Because like when I'm drunk, like I'm a little too honest.
You get crammed a circle of life up your fucking ass, Timon.
how about the circle of death, bitch?
It's like, I'm not even sure how you made it to Broadway. Whose dick did you suck? Like, so.
Who didn't you?
But like,
Right.
yeah. But it was just like, it was bad. And so like then, so we're waiting, like I had audience, I had comics. I literally had like maybe 20 audience members.
Oh.
By the 2 hours that they waited, we were down to like 6.
Oh.
And then like I had like 8 comics. We were down to like 5. And then we start the show.
Oh, that's sweet. Because I can imagine the comments are like, is this show happening or not? Is this show happening? You know, I got another show. I got to be back in Jersey.
Yeah. And so like then as soon as I like hooked the mic up out of the stand, it's crackling. Like the mic is like on the fritz. I go to the bartender. I go to the owner. I'm like, hey, your mic's not working. Do you have another mic? No, that's the only mic. We don't have another mic. Okay, fine. So now we finish doing the show. I'm just about to say good night, folks. Thanks for coming. When the owner comes, he's like, wait, hold on. Don't say another word. Because I said, you guys have been great. And then he's like, wait, don't say another word. Hold on. He takes the mic out of my hand. And then he puts a new mic in there. And then he's like, there you go. And I was like, you know something? Go fuck yourself and go fuck your microphone. And like, everyone's just like, oh my God, does she know that's the owner? I'm like, yeah, I know it's the fucking owner. Fuck him and fuck this place. Good night. And I just walked out. Like,
Was that your last
That's
show? at
punk
that
rock.
so now the
She's
funny,
still punk rock. She's still punk rock.
Yeah.
like, yeah, people don't expect, like,
I'm into
I
it.
Right.
bug out at weird times though. Like, you gotta really.
We're very much our dynamic because like we're really cool, but like she's a Taurus, I'm a Scorpio.
Okay.
We both have that switch.
We
Don't
get a
fuck with us.
moment.
We get a
like,
moment.
We get a moment. Luckily,
We've had
we never
moments where-
at the same time.
Not at the same time.
Yeah.
Right,
And when your powers combine.
because there's always one of us.
Yeah, one of us
One of
goes
us
off,
goes
and the
off,
other one is still
Comes
calm.
the other one down.
Yeah.
But we've never been going off at the
At the same time.
Oh, girl, I don't know
You'd be the
when
Wonder
that
Twins.
happens.
Yeah.
Oh shit,
I
we
don't
gonna
know.
fuck some shit up. The bar
Like-
gonna look like, oh my God,
Like,
what
the,
is
what is
happening?
the
happening?
cast of The Lion King was horribly killed.
Yeah,
Lions were slayed everywhere,
yeah. It was just
along with
bad.
hyenas.
Exactly.
You guys would be poachers.
They're poachers.
Yeah.
Like you might be a
You said that like the penguin, like poachers.
Poachers.
Batman.
Zazu. What's Zazu?
I'm just drunk enough that this all makes perfect sense.
Yes. But yeah, we've never been both like
yeah.
either.
Like
Sometimes
you've been
you're-
extra or I've
I've
been
been
extra,
extra.
but like we've never been extra at the same time.
But we both know when we get extra.
You can tell.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh,
Somebody
like
at that
I've
bar last
had
night,
to
they were
like,
like-
jump and like break up fights with him like before. Like yeah,
it's not like a full fledged fight. Ain't nobody catch. Ain't nobody caught
No.
hands in a long time.
Somewhere
But,
between
like,
keyboard balls and catching hands.
exactly
Yeah.
because you will get
Gonna
cussed the fuck-
catch some keyboards. Let's call it.
But then I've had to break up. But hold on, what's going on? Walk. Wait.
yeah. I've definitely. Well, because I feel like my shit always just all happens at the same time.
Okay.
It's like I'll have like months without incident,
Mm-hmm.
and then
Without incident?
like, and then
Like a trailer park. It's like this many days without a tornado. We're going this many days without her calling Simba a twat. But he did it to himself.
you
so
cunt
it's not
ass
her fault.
bitch, motherfucker.
See, exactly.
Hope you never get the throne.
That's how I started. I had an incident. Right? I had an incident. My roommate.
Hakuna Matata, bitch.
It's a wonderful phrase.
It's like it's like you don't want to see what I did to your taco.
Right. Oh, bitch.
But like yeah, so like the last time I well, it wasn't like the very, because we had like quasi incident, but you kind of took care of that
I
with
did.
a drive by finger blast and
What
But-
now?
Drive-by finger blast.
So many questions.
yeah.
Yes.
As okay, so I'm gonna start
get
from the
into this one.
We got to start from the beginning to make it make sense.
Uh-huh.
So there's a place that we do karaoke, and
Mm-hmm.
like we go there like pretty much every Friday. And so like there was this guy there. I'm gonna like do the shortened version of it, but give you the big broad strokes.
I want every detail where this ends in a drive-by finger blasting. Spare nothing. I want the unabridged version because I want this to be like I'm building a box and you won't know it till you're inside of it. Kind of a detailed story.
Okay.
Continue.
So like there's a guy that's at the karaoke that's a regular, and his son came to visit him with his son's girlfriend, who is a nurse, and she was crying. And so like the regular is just like, oh, you're a woman, go talk to her, find out what's
you know
wrong
what's
with her.
going on with vagina feelings? Like,
So like I went and I talked to her, and she was just basically, you know, she's like 26, she's a nurse, she works like 60, 70 hours a week, and she's like, is this what life's about? Is this how the rest of my life's going to be? I don't think that I can handle this. Like, you know, I feel like I take care of everybody else, but no one's taking care of me, and like, what does my life even mean? And so I was just like, everybody's got these feelings. Like, don't worry about it. Like, you're just having an existential crisis. You're fine. So, like, then the guy comes up, the regular's friend comes up to me. He's like, well, what's wrong with her? And I'm like, oh, she's just having an existential crisis. And then he's like, oh, have you ever had an existential crisis? I'm like, well, actually, I'm having one right now. And then he was just like, well, like, what is your crisis? And I'm like, well, I don't believe in happiness and I don't believe in free will. And so then he's just like, oh, you don't believe in free will. So then he reaches around and grabs my boob. And then he's like, oh, so you don't think free will made me do that? I'm like, no. He's like, what do you think made me do that? I'm like, I think you're an entitled male asshole that thinks you're entitled to every woman's body. And it didn't necessarily have to be my body, or my boob. You just think that you're entitled to touch any woman's body.
Yeah.
And then he's like, well, no, I wanted to touch yours. And I'm like, what's my name? And he's like, and I'm like, right. So, it didn't mean that you needed to touch mine because I'm known to you. I'm just a body that possesses boobs. So,
I was a philosophy major in school, and I wrote a lot of papers how I don't think free will's real. So I'm like, oh, good. I found someone who doesn't think I'm insane.
Yeah.
Being like, it's a causal nexus. We don't have control. We're not that special.
No, it's so, everything that you do is a reaction of something that's happened to you in the past, and you're just reacting to that.
Exactly.
But everyone wants to be like, oh, I've got free will. It's
Mercury's in retrograde. It's like, no, you're a species that's been developed over time, and we're going to be blinked out of existence.
Yeah. So totally. And then happiness is just you're just feeling less miserable than you were when you were a little bit more miserable than you are now. You're not actually happy. You're just a little less sad.
You're relieved.
You're really right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
because we weren't. I had just left the bar.
Okay.
Luckily for this,
so you weren't
asshole.
there to help.
Right. It wasn't
normal.
No.
But right. So I had just left the bar. So fast forward to maybe
but I also ended up cursing out a couple the same night. But go on.
Okay.
We're gonna fast forward
to maybe 2-3 weeks later.
It was Timon and Pumbaa from The Lion King. So
motherfuckers.
We go back to karaoke.
Okay.
And we see the same asshole that grabbed her boob.
Yeah.
And Marissa's like, if this motherfucker talks to me, if he talks to me, I'm going to spaz the fuck out. And I was like, don't worry. I got you. It's going to be cool.
If there was ever someone who deserved to catch those hands.
Because
he already dealt hands, which means...
Hello. Now you about to catch one.
You live by the sword. You die by the sword.
Thank you. Right. So then he comes up to you. He comes up to you. He starts talking. What does he say to you?
He's just like, you owe me. And then I was just like, listen.
Bitch.
I don't know what you're expecting this conversation to go like, but if you want to talk to me, you're going to have to start out with something aside from you owe me, because I don't owe you shit. I don't even owe you this conversation. So if you're going to keep on this I owe you track, you can walk the fuck away.
He just assaulted you, and then he's like, pay up.
Well, he wanted me to hit him. That was his whole thing.
Fight Club?
He was just like, oh, if I offended you so badly, you should slap me. You should hit me. And I was like, listen, I have friends that make good money off of this. It's not my problem that you're cheap and you just try to make women mad so they hit you.
Yeah.
And then he's just like, oh, no, you need to hit me. I'm like, no, I'm not, because you're going to get off on me hitting you. That's why you keep asking me to hit you.
Yeah.
Go pay somebody to do that.
Jesus.
And so, then he's just like, and I'm like, listen, I want to go. And he's like, why? And I'm like, that fucker, blah, blah, blah.
Right. Marissa comes in, she says, I want to go. I'm like, no. We're not. You go upstairs, smoke, relax. It's going to be okay. Mm-hmm. So then I go up to this motherfucker. And I'm just like, what you did was not cool.
Yeah.
And I'm sweet talking him, and I put my hand right up under his. Wait.
You tapped his balls first.
I did. I tapped. I forgot about that.
Baby powder shot out of the top.
Because I was like, let me tell you something. First of all, you see this right here? Bop bop. Tapped his balls.
Yeah.
Does that feel good? Did you like that? You didn't like that I just tapped your balls like that, right? And he's like, yeah, well, it's not the same thing. And I'm like, no.
Yeah.
actually, it is the same thing.
Yeah.
And then I pull him in a little closer, and then I put my hand right up under his, like, go right into the underwear, and then I start finger blasting him. I'm like, how about that? How about I put my hand right in his butthole,
Wow.
started rubbing his butthole.
That's escalation.
There you go. How about that? Are you liking what's happening
You're
right
catching
now?
these fingers.
Right, now you're catching
He
these fingers.
caught those fingers.
Pop, pop. Right, exactly.
Oh, the world's a horrible place. But this is fun.
Oh God! But yeah, he caught these fingers,
He
and I let
sure
him know,
did.
like, look, we ain't doing that over here.
Yeah.
Now you just got finger popped right here in the bar.
What are we
I
gonna
will
do
say
now?
I turned this whole thing into a bit, and they were very liked it in Maine, except for the part when I'm like, "You don't hate me because I like the smell of his butt, right?"
Right? Because I didn't say that. It was a punch and butt.
Spoils of war.
He's like, but his butt smelled good.
His butt did smell good though. But it's a good smelling butt though.
It's like a Viking warrior smelling his
Right,
sword.
exactly.
Going, I have won my battles today. Live by the sword, die by it.
He didn't tell you to that bit. That's good. What?
You'll see her next Friday.
Yeah, okay. I feel like we need to do that bit together. That'd be fun. Yes.
But, yeah.
You know.
Drive-by fingering. Now I
Yeah.
have all the information.
Yeah.
Drive-by finger blast.
It was a
Don't
drive-by
fuck
finger
with
blast.
Marissa. I mean, you
Do
might get a
not.
finger up your butt.
Do not.
Yeah, apparently Rodney likes to sexually assault in my honor.
It's like dueling.
I'm doing this for Marissa.
10 paces finger.
I did that for you. And you were
Yeah.
like, you didn't do that for
It's
me.
your own personal Hamilton. Like you show up to the field of honor.
I'm like, what have I ever? I might be like, hey, I'm running a little late. Can you like pick up beer for me? Hey, can you send this email for me? But like, I've never been like, dude, can you finger blast somebody for me?
You didn't have to ask. It needed to happen.
It's like the Godfather is like, you come to me on my daughter's wedding and tell me to finger a man I do not know.
Happily.
On a side note, I'm happy that you brought up the Godfather because you are
Yeah.
of Italian descent, right?
Yeah.
So like
Okay.
now. You've heard of this business with Cuomo and like how like someone called him Fredo and like he
Yes, I
threatened
did
them?
see that, yeah.
Like now I don't know like I mean obviously I've heard of the character Fredo but I've never heard it contextually in like as an ethnic slur.
Neither have I.
Okay.
It's just he's the fuck up brother from The Godfather.
right
The-
like
I think it was more because Chris Cuomo came out and he's like, guys, I should be better than the people that like fuck with me, but people do it all the time, and I snapped, and I'm not proud of it. So like, I don't think it counts as an ethnic slur, but I also get that if like someone's gonna fuck with him all day, and he does like really good work, so it's gonna be MAGA assholes fucking with him all day. He's gonna say something he's not proud of, so I let it go. I wasn't thrilled that he was like, I will throw you down the stairs. I was like, oh, that was a little scary. But I don't think that Fredo really counts as an ethnic slur. But I also get why he's like snapped for a minute.
because I thought that's like kind of like I would not have thought of it as being like I mean I know that there's ethnic slurs for Italian people. I
Yeah.
would have if anything I would have thought that would be kind of like the R word like you know like it,
Fredo. No.
like kind of like he's a little slow or something but like
I felt it
didn't-
was more like, hey, you're an idiot because Fredo's kind of an idiot.
yeah but like I didn't know that was like
ethnic
ethnic
slur.
slur.
It's not really, but I also think that like because Chris Cuomo, from what I know about him, like he's like more of a liberal, I guess. So
Yeah,
like a lot of
yeah.
like conservative idiots are going to be trying to fuck with him. He probably knew exactly what the guy was saying. He just picked the wrong slur. So like he knows that he's saying, "Hey, you stupid Italian, Trump's the man." So I get why he jumped right to like describing the dude's intentions, but
Yeah.
just because it's never been done by anybody really.
Right.
Everyone's like, "That's not a slur." It's like, well, he knew the guy was trying to insult his Italianness.
right
So I don't think Chris Cuomo was really in the wrong, but like that's not a thing.
yeah
So
because like he was just like oh well like that's like the equivalent of like being called the N-word.
no,
No.
that was not a great look.
Yeah. Like I don't know cuz
No.
like AJ Mattioli had written something on his Facebook, and he was just like, "Oh, like I'm Italian, and like yes, it is a slur, but it's not akin to the N word. You know that because he could only say one of those two words. Like, you know what I mean? It was just kind of like, so I don't know. Like I've never heard of that. Like I've heard like the G word for Italians or the W word for Italians, but I've never heard of like Fredo.
Okay, so you guys are educating me because I did Celeste Jennings' podcast at the comic strip this week, and there was a bartender or like he was a server. His name was Fredo, and everybody was like making jokes like, "Oh yeah, now you can tell everybody your name's Fredo, but I'm not stupid," or like some like they're like making jokes about like I had no idea that what was going on. And I was like, oh, okay, now.
Do you think the guy gets mad if you call him other brothers from The Godfather? Like, Sonny, give me a new Sierra Mist.
Maybe. I mean, but, you know, it's kind of like, it's,
It's not a slur.
It's not a slur.
It's really not.
Right?
I mean,
No.
I don't know.
But, like,
It's
I don't know,
I
'cause
feel
I'm
like
not
it's
Italian,
not.
so,
Yeah,
like-
Not.
I feel like it's not my place to judge whether it's a slur
whether it's
or
a
not.
slur or not, because you don't really know what is going
Yeah.
to make you offended.
No.
Because, like, sometimes I'm offended by faggot and sometimes I'm not.
Yeah.
Depending on who's saying
says
it
it and how
and what
it's
the
said.
context is.
Okay.
And, like, yeah.
I also felt like I wanted to know like who actually said it, because like if it was like another Italian person to an Italian person, then I felt like kind
Right.
of like
And it's like the N word.
Okay.
yeah, like it's like
Well, we don't
Well-
call each other Fredo at barbecues. Like, that's not a
like
thing.
what's up, my
Right.
Fredo?
Fredo.
Fredo.
Yo, Fredo, what's good?
yeah.
But yeah, I get why he was mad because it's a dude bothering for the millionth time. But like, I wouldn't say that it was as grave as he made it out to be. Like, if you called me Fredo, I'd be like, you could insult me with so many other words. Like, if you said nerd with too much stank on it, I'd be like, guys, I just like Black Panther. Don't be mean to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I did my 23andMe. It turns out I'm like 0.3% more Irish than I thought I was. So I'm like, oh, whiter than I thought I was. Okay. So I don't know if I can be the best person to weigh on in this debate, but I'm Italian, so whatever.
Yeah.
You did your 23andMe?
I did.
So what else are you?
I was. I'm almost like neck and neck Irish and Italian. I'm some Scandinavian. I'm some Iberian, which is like Spanish and Portugal.
Oh.
And I think there's some Arabic
eyebrows.
in there somewhere.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
the Arabic salt eyebrows.
Somewhere in there, yeah.
Yeah.
I got some brows.
I do too, and I haven't done the 23andMe. And my dad is adopted, so like I'm just like
That's a wild card.
so
Yeah.
much. Like I feel like if I find out so much, oh shit,
You're gonna find out you're Chinese.
right? I could ask blazing. That's a blazing.
It's a blazing right there. It's 100% blazing.
Yep.
Blazing 100.
Blazing on 100.
Yeah, I'm curious about doing it, but then like I'm always worried that I'm gonna like end up being something I don't want to be.
But you know a bunch of your history already.
Like, what's
though.
the thing that would bum you out?
I wouldn't want to be German.
Okay, I get that.
Like I wouldn't want to be Russian.
Okay.
I think those are like the two things that would like be the
those are
most
things-
disturbing.
But like, it's whites. You don't see those things necessarily. If you have a whole bunch of color like in the background too, like if you find out you're 3% German.
yeah, but if I found I was related to Hitler, I'd be really
A
upset.
little bit of a bummer, yeah.
Like, yeah,
Fuck.
it's like
It's
really.
like, I think my German genes are talking shit when my other genes aren't around.
It's just like,
Oh, that's where that comes from.
it's like you gotta like always be fighting the master race.
Right,
king.
exactly.
It's like
If
stay
you're,
back.
If your one hand
That's
gets a
why I
little,
want to have
too high,
genocide.
that one
just
hand gets
like,
a little too high, you're like, get back down
like-
there.
Stop
Damn
it.
it.
Stop it. No, we're not doing another Holocaust.
We're not having that up in here.
No.
No.
Not cool.
Right.
It's like, yeah.
My Guyana genes are saying no.
But my body, tell me yes.
What if you got the...
I saw a woman in Brooklyn the other day wearing a free R. Kelly t-shirt.
Oh, no.
I wanted to slap the shit out that bitch. Like, what is wrong with you?
No.
Baby
You're gonna catch
toucher.
these fingers.
Hello.
What if you got the Hitler genes, but it's just the being a mediocre painter? Like, it's harmless, but it still kind of sucks.
I mean, I already have that, but like
Okay, so I was.
that makes me even more nervous because I am a mediocre painter already. God damn it!
Oh, no. Maybe they're trying to get out.
It's just like, oh,
So I was smoking weed, hanging out with my neighbors, right? And we were having a conversation about the fact that if you had a time machine and you could kill Hitler,
Okay.
but he's 5,
Okay.
would you do it?
I'd do it, but I think I'd cry a little when I was done because I'd be like, oh, I killed him in his jammies. But, like, for the goodness of humanity. But I'd have to do
Goodness
it.
of humanity.
Yeah.
Right.
I'd have to. I wouldn't be thrilled about it, but I'd be like, all right, I've seen Triumph of the Will. I know where this is going. Especially if he already had the little mustache.
I don't know that I could kill him, but what I probably would do is like take him to an orphanage so that like someone else raised him.
Little orphan Hitler.
Because like I
It's
feel
a
like
hard knock life. Or Hitler.
Right, then it might turn out worse. 500 million Jews dead.
No, but like
then he wins the war.
But he's still cute with his little curly head.
Right. I don't know.
no, because I kind of feel like if somebody else raised him, maybe like he'd have turned out differently.
I think you're right because, like, we're talking about everything as a confluence of what you've been through. And
Yeah.
also, he had like the mother breastfed him until he was like 5, and then his dad was like abusive.
Oh.
so
Yeah.
one of those things
Shit.
gone. Maybe he's just a bad painter, and we
Right.
saved like 6 million Jews.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know. I thought about it and I was just like, my grandparents, they got married right before the war.
Okay.
And then and my uncle was born right after the war ended. Mm-hmm. So my grandfather came back and my grandmother was like already pregnant with uncle.
Okay.
Yeah, right. So I was like, my uncle wouldn't have been born if the war never happened. And it really made me start to think about all of history and all the things that wouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
And where would history be?
Or if
If it
Nana knew
had-
how to buy a condom.
History is the movie sliding doors on a massive scale.
Right. My grandma was like, yeah. Anyways, I'm just
Get
like,
it.
Right. Yeah.
You know Nana loves to get it.
But it's just like,
Nana
I
caught
don't-
these fingers.
Nana called that dick.
With pride.
oh God. I knew 23. What was that conversation like, Grandma? Anyways, it just made me start to really think about what would history be like if you did go back and change that.
Yeah.
It would be completely
I wonder if we would have gotten a new Hitler like just later and like of a different race and be like, oh, we should have left the other one because like he killed more people. Like, is there a situation where you do that and you're like, shit, we should have left Hitler be. We should have just left well enough
right.
alone.
But then what if I mean?
Well, I
we have,
feel
Hopefully
like-
not. But like, I
and then
wonder
we
if
have
there would
like
be.
5 Jewish presidents consecutively. Like,
I feel like
I'm not sure why that's a bad thing.
not a
But
bad thing, but like
it would have
it
been
was
something
different, yeah.
different.
But like exactly
yeah.
something different. Like now,
'Cause,
the
like,
Jews
we've
are-
never had one.
We've
Okay.
never had one, but now like the Jews are taking over the whole
Yeah.
world.
You sound like Hitler. No,
we
but
should
like
take that 23andMe.
Fine, I'm half Jewish.
no, but you know what's like funny? It's like my family will hate that I'm talking about this, but hopefully they'll never hear this. So like I have an uncle that needed like a bone marrow transplant, and so they went and they did all of his blood work or whatever, and he's like, oh, like, you know, I can talk to my siblings to see if I can like get one of them to donate. And then the doctor's just like, oh, like, don't bother with any of your siblings because you're half Jewish. And is like,
And they don't deserve bone marrow transplants.
and then it's just like,
What?
oh, like, and he's like, what do you mean? And he's like, well, the rest of your family is not half Jewish. Like, you are half Jewish. Like, and they're like, oh, and so then, like, he's just like, wait, my mom and her boss? Like, it was just,
Oh, no.
yeah.
Oh my! Imagine finding that out through you're already bummed you need a bone marrow transplant. But you're like, oh my god, fuck.
Yeah.
For so many reasons right now.
Right. And so, like, you know, they thought that, like, that he wasn't, like, related to, like,
Shit.
any of his siblings because they, like, you know, and my mom is like, well, I don't know why they just didn't test everybody because, like, you know, everybody knew about that for a while. Like, you know, it was just, like...
It's weird he found out
Right.
now.
Right.
like,
I knew
Actually-
before he got the bone cancer. So.
it's like,
I could
Sorry,
tell when
buddy,
you
but-
popped out like
it's like...
that's the
Yeah.
boys.
But we're getting that, like, 5-minute mark. But before we
And on a
had...
cheery note, bone
Yeah.
cancer.
I know, right?
And-
but we're
and,
gonna leave on like a cheerier note. So, Alex, have you been listening to a Charles Manson
have.
podcast?
I watched the new Tarantino movie on a bootleg, and it's all about the Manson murder. It's involved, and I've been listening to this podcast, and I'm just wrapped by it. Because
What's the
it's-
name of the podcast?
It's called You Must. It's part of a bigger podcast series called You Must Remember This about the history of L.A.
Okay.
but it's like got a sub podcast series called You Must Remember Manson
Mm.
because he was so big for like a big turnover history of that point. And it's so weird because he was pretty much this guy that was like, I could be a rock star. I'm like a solid songwriter, and he goes and it doesn't work out because he's crazy, and then he just gets a cult and he's like, this music career isn't working out. Let's murder people, and then it worked. And my favorite part of this podcast is the reason why they
Really true though.
yeah. Also, by the way, I've listened to the album he recorded. It's not terrible. He wrote a couple of like okay songs. It was a very weird experience.
but he also was trying to start a race riot.
yeah, his whole philosophy was, and they're not sure if he actually believed it. He was super racist, but he told his followers like, okay, the reason why we're doing these murders is we're going to frame the Black Panthers. Then the race war will start because the Black Panthers are too stupid to start their own race war. We'll go underground, which is crazy cult talk. And then we'll come up when they've already won, and then we will rise because we're white people are much smarter than them. So his whole philosophy was this weird mixture of like stupidity and racism, Scientology, and the book How to Win Friends and Influence People, and like Beach Boys music. It was the strangest cocktail.
Because like one of the things like I thought was like yes he was trying to start the race war,
Yeah.
but his whole thing is like yes he was going to pin it on the Black Panthers, and then he thought that the Black Panthers were going to like come to him
Yeah.
once the race war started because like the blacks would be like too dumb to like start their own culture
Exactly,
because
yeah.
he thought the blacks were going to win the race war but that they would need whites to rely on to
Pretty
like
much.
control the world.
Yeah.
And they thought that he, of all the white men, because they've never been a better white man than him,
No.
was going to be controlling the world.
Yeah, and what's
Wow.
weird, and this speaks to the almost like the indomitable spirit of dreams. He thought that after that he still might get a recording contract. Like it was all about the music.
It's still all about the music.
It's
At the
that's
end of the
commitment
day,
to
it's
your
all about the
craft.
music.
So, like, I was watching, like, the documentary on the Manson women,
Yeah.
and it was, like, Squeaky and Snake.
Krenwinkel and all those.
Yeah, and so, like, I just thought it was, like, because I was watching it, like, in my hotel in Portland, Maine, and I was just like, I don't think I'm leaving the hotel. And it's, I'm, like, barricading the door with,
Yeah.
like, all the desks and
Oh,
shit.
I saw a
'cause
guy
I
with a
was-
beard today. Let's not let him.
It's like I'm not letting anybody in this room. No, I don't need housekeeping. So like
What's the name of the movie star that he murdered?
Sharon Tate.
Sharon Tate.
Yeah.
So I used to live in LA for like 8 years, and I went to a party of a guy that bought that house.
Oh,
that
okay.
Sharon Tate got murdered in. And the lights went out at one point. He was like, "Oh, Sharon Tate's spirit is here."
Oh, no.
And I told my friend, I said, "We gotta go. We have got to get the fuck up out of here."
Like that woman hasn't suffered enough. She's getting blamed for blackouts.
Right. Yeah.
you've been in a lot of dead people's houses.
Yeah. Whitney Houston. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shit happens.
Is this like a tour you can arrange in LA? Like,
Right.
No, like
That was in Jersey.
that was in Jersey. We
Okay.
ended up
Because-
sleeping in Whitney Houston's bed actually.
Together.
What?
Yeah.
We slept in Whitney Houston's bed together.
Yeah.
That's kind of sweet
Yeah.
and kind of creepy at the same time.
It was
It
both.
was.
How did you guys
It was.
pull that off?
Like so like was a fan of the show that like invited us
Okay.
to the Halloween party at Whitney Houston's house and we ended up having another show and we're like by the time we get there, we're gonna have to leave because the train is gonna stop running.
It's like butt fuck, like it's somewhere deep in Jersey.
Deep in Jersey.
Newark, Jersey. Like it was $100 cab ride or something like that.
Yeah,
Ridiculous.
it was like
That kind of part of New Jersey that's Missouri. Just
but
Yeah.
there
Way
was
deep.
deer crossing.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
And no street lights, nothing. And
You
so
got like MAGA hats on. It's like,
they were just like, we don't need no drinking water.
if Flint don't got none, we don't need it.
So then we were just like, there's no way we can get there and back. And then she's just like, oh, you guys can just stay. And then we got there and she's like, oh, I told the boys to give you the Whitney treatment. So you're sleeping in her bed.
We got the Whitney treatment.
Yeah. And I was like, I'm not taking a bath in here.
God, Marissa. But what you did do though was do karaoke in her studio.
Yeah, I did.
that's cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
But like, we got the whole tour, and then we woke up the next day, and it's just
She had breakfast in her kitchen.
and just like
Yeah.
chilled by the pool. I watched the interview with her and Barbara Walters, and fucking she's like by
right
the
in the pool, yeah.
where we were sitting at
Wow.
with her and Barbara Walters, like in 1992 or some shit.
Because that's the best spot at the pool.
Hey, it was, and I was
Yeah.
just like,
That's
fuck.
the Walter spot.
Yeah.
I was right there. So great, but
Yeah.
So we got to wrap this up. And my phone was not charging this whole time. Okay, so we gotta wrap this up. But before we go, just tell everybody, where can they see you next? What projects are you working on? And how can they find you on social media? Rodney Daniels.
Hello, I'm Rodney Daniels, and you can find me at Rodney Daniels on everything: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I will be at Black Gay Pride, performing on the main stage at Coney Island this Sunday at 6:00. Come and see me. I'm also going to be hosting Fashionably Funny next Friday night with Marissa Smith, doing my thing at 10:00. If you're in New York City, check me out.
Alex.
I'm at A Fasella, Fossella on Twitter. I'm at Alex Fasella on Instagram. I got a podcast where I learn about musicals called Broadway Baby that's on Broadway Baby Pod on Instagram and Twitter. I have another podcast called Modern Day Philosophers where we've had like Tony Hawk on, and Kevin Nealon is the next episode. Current episode is Colt Cabana, the wrestler, and I'm not into wrestling, so I assume that's really cool, but I don't know much about it.
Marissa Smith.
You can find me on Twitter at Marissa Smith. Find this show on Twitter at Big Talkin' Brew. I will be at Broadway Comedy Club on August the 23rd for Fashionably Funny. The first Saturday of every month, you can find me at Auto Shrunken Head for Merriment and Mortification. And I will be doing a show at the Creek in the Cave on September the 5th at 8 p.m. It's like a question and answer kind of show. So
Is
it
this
should
Brett
be
Seaver
interesting.
show?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm doing that in December.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, you'll have
Yeah.
fun. I like him.
Yeah. So, it'll be totally fun. Remember, you guys, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and
Don't take a bath in Whitney Houston's house.
don't take a bath in Whitney Houston's house.
Oh my God.
And also, never forget that the bones broken in Epstein's neck are consistent with homicide. Have a good night. Bye.
Bye.